Again, Adam, we're not trying to trick you or anything.
I
know. For some reason, when we try to talk to you, we have every technical problem we've never run into.
Sure.
Never.
So
That's
it's
the
probably
thing.
your fault.
All me.
It is your fault.
I'm messing with you guys from afar.
Yes, he is. He's doing the sequel right now, girl. We were part of it.
Exactly.
The search of the 3 missing Montgomery College students continues in Frederick County.
And I got to play with your wand. It was great.
Definitely fun.
Keep going.
So welcome, Adam.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Welcome. We ready for you.
No way.
Period. Yes.
Is that that might be the exact mask that I used in
Yes. I'll have more characterizations for you when I see you. So stay tuned for us. We're gonna be up there. We're gonna be twinning. But yes, so welcome to Footage Foreplay. Adam. He's the director, writer of content, which are showing at F9, which I'm super excited about myself. But how are you doing today, Adam?
I'm doing just lovely. I'm here on video from Los Angeles, California. Happy to be on the pod. Happy to talk found footage.
Yes. And this is Russell. We all talked here. You know Russell.
Hi.
Russell, Adam, Russell. Yes.
Howdy.
Well, Terrell, are you going to address the elephant in the room?
Well, I know. What is the elephant?
Well,
Evan. Is it Evan?
Yeah, that is the other co-host.
Yeah, so Evan's missing. I don't know what happened. I don't know if you did some type of, I don't know. We seen your movie. But he's missing. So he may or may not pop in. He may or may not. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he, he might be drugged, with this. Yeah, he might have something going on.
Who's saying?
Pull that back up.
I'm watching him at least.
Oh my God.
Period. But anyways, let's get into you. Where'd you get your start in found footage, and tell us about your love for the genre and all that good stuff. Tell us about you.
Oh my God. I believe like many other people my age, I kind of just started watching on a desktop computer sometime in middle school. Probably, I'm trying to think what the early ones I saw. Definitely watching like the VHS movies and like with my cousins and like the Paranormal Activities.
Yes.
I was a big Saw kid.
Me too.
I would watch like all the Saw movies, just like in again, desktop computer with a bit of Googling, and you can find a whole world of found footage out there. So so I had always been big into horror from a young age. Went to film school in Arizona, the University of Arizona, Tucson. What a scene out there. And then, pretty soon after that, studied film there, graduated like pretty much during COVID, but always knew I wanted to like go out to LA, work in film, make anything I could. So I've been living in Los Angeles for like 5 years now. Was always like writing different things, some things that I could never make myself at all. But when I had the concept for content, and very immediately was like, okay, I know my friends I would use for this. I know the locations I would use for this. I think it like fits like the idea of this movie to film with like real webcams, real phones, like real things I have access to. I was like, I just have to see this through. So that started the process of making content.
Wait, I got to ask. You graduated during lockdown. What was that like?
I know.
Did you get like a letter in the mail?
It was really silly. I guess it started during when our like spring break was, and that was like my senior year college. So everyone's like, okay, cool, go off to spring break and then come back and start, graduating, saying our goodbyes, whatever. And then over the course of like a 1 week period, it was like, ooh, actually, remote classes. Ooh, actually, no one come back here because nothing's going to happen for months. So it was odd. It was kind of quiet, but life happens.
Well, you took it well. I always thought
what can
that
you
the
do?
remote learning would be so tough.
Okay, so that's how content started. Is this your first feature, right? Have you done any like shorts or anything?
This is my first feature. I made a short film at like the University of Arizona, like a senior thesis film. That was kind of a semi-mockumentary, like kind of dark comedy. But yeah, I mean, I always knew I want to make a lot of horror movies. So definitely this was the first thing that I was able to like conceptualize as a feature, or wrote as a feature, and figured out from there.
Nice. So you're this cast that you put together. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Talk about the cast and how about Teddy and all this good stuff.
Oh my God, yeah.
So you guys are really roommates, and yeah, this is good.
Yep. I'll say this: there aren't so many Arizonans who moved to Los Angeles to work in film, but we all know each other, and we're all pretty close. And so when I moved to Los Angeles, I moved in with Logan, who's a producer with me on the movie, and also plays my roommate, who is later. He's a little bit terrorized in the movie himself.
The one with the cat? The one with the cat.
Yeah, the one with the cat. The roommate with the cat.
Yes.
So I lived with him, his now fiance Jess, who also appears in the movie, Marcello, who has a brief appearance and did all of our sound design, and then Alex Mills, who plays Teddy in the movie.
Yes.
So just the core group that I was like conceptualizing as I was writing this movie. Alex Mills is a great actor. He's been acting since college, and we've been longtime friends. We live together still to this day. And we moved into a place with just the two of us. And as I moved into that house, it had like this weird kind of bedroom that looks into the hallway, that looks into the kitchen, where you can kind of like look all the way through the house.
Yeah,
and
it was
just
weird.
Kind of weird layout.
It was.
It's like an odd home.
Were you in the front room? Because everyone came through your damn door. I'm like, what is that? Is this a bedroom?
It's a weirdly set up house, probably from like the 60s or something.
Yeah.
Where they're just like rooms that feed into rooms that don't totally make sense. But yes, it's like a front room, bedroom. And I lived there with Alex, and I was like, wait, this is a weird little perspective to kind of place the camera into. So I wrote the role for him. Megan, who plays Margot.
Yep.
Kind of one of the most interesting part of the shoots that a lot of people couldn't even tell from watching it. She was an actress I knew in college. She was in like a senior short I made, and she moved to New York. And I just loved working with her, and I reached out to her like, hey, I have a part I want to write for you. Would you be down for that? She was, and she filmed her whole part remotely in New York. So we were working.
Did good.
She did great.
Yes.
She was like, you know, being her own cinematographer. Like we were just kind of walking around on Zoom, like having her put her laptop different places. And
because
like, okay,
it was like a peeping Tom type of situation too. Oh, so she did all that by herself?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So much credit to her for, you know, like being able to let us, you know, into her room to like use her camera to pick her costumes. Like, you know, we were working from it all from afar. So it was really fun to work over a period to make a movie that way with someone who like wasn't even here.
Yeah.
You know, only way to do it, Screenlife.
No, it was great. I loved it. And you got a weird closet. That closet was a deep closet, like a whole room. You could move into that room.
It's a weird closet.
If you've seen a San Francisco apartment, that was it right there. Put on a $1,200 price tag, period. But yeah, that's great.
It's a good deal.
Russell, you doing good over there?
What happened? Did I just like drop?
Yeah, you did. And I got scared for a second.
So you cut a little bit.
Yeah, you were just gone.
The Ethernet apparently is very fidgety. So it just kicked me. Again, Adam, we're not trying to trick you or anything.
I
know. For some reason, when we try to talk to you, we have every technical problem we've never run into.
Sure.
Never.
So it's probably your fault.
All me.
It is your fault.
I'm messing with you guys from afar.
Yes, he is. He's doing the sequel right now, girl. We were part of it.
Exactly.
Did you? I know you were talking about the people that you had written specifically for, and I hope you all didn't talk about Teddy without me, because
Teddy was
just
great.
A little bit.
He's great.
What is your background in? Are you more of are you more of a writer, or?
Yeah, I did improv for years and was always writing, was directing shorts, making things like that. So I've always been writing, and content was the first concept that I had where I really thought like, okay, this style could fit a concept that I can make myself. And I really wanted to make a movie, you know, like it's so rare to come up with something where I'm like, I can do this with the resources I have. And I love writing like roles for people and writing like for locations I know and like houses I know, rooms I know, like that. It just makes sense to me. And so, Alex Mills, who plays Teddy, like the role was always written for him. I would like share drafts with him as I went, kind of talk about like the character concepts. And yeah, so it's super fun to like develop that together.
So when you're writing a movie like Content, again, Content is it's a layered film. Like whenever we look at like Screenlife, we always think of like Teamer's movies, which he's produced like literally all of them from like Unfriended to Missing. And he's got a particular style. And, with Mercy that just came out, I've been thinking a lot about how he's managed to make all his movies feel like they're unfolding in real time.
Yep.
And it's a unique thing where with yours, I felt like the writing was really coming through strong. And I think a lot of people end up getting into like in-world camera film because, I mean, the budget constraints, if you have a good idea, you can really make a great film. And I think a lot of them, the script kind of gets left on the floor, or they do what I actually think is probably best for this genre is, loose outlines and then kind of explore it. But with your improv background, I'm curious, did you write for Teddy? Because he feels like somebody you wouldn't want to give a lot of room to. But right, yeah. So was it like written, or was it just like loose direction?
Those are the two sides of me that I'm always trying to figure out as I'm directing something, because I really love writing and I can really write a lot and maybe sometimes write like a little bit too much, like really give like too much like dialogue or, jokes, bits, like things like that. And really kind of like labyrinthine structured stories, which I have so much fun, like kind of creating there. But when we're actually doing it and rehearsing, I really love to let the actors cook a bit. So I'm really, really happy with what Alex Mills did as Teddy, what Megan did as Margot, because it was such a mix of us like, rehearsing some scenes which are really long, like they did play out like in real time on Zoom. Those are really long segments where they had to like do a bit of like theater style where you're kind of just, it was really rare we would film the like direct dialogue scenes with any kind of cuts unless they're like major things we had to like hide or whatnot. So there are big segments that like they improvised. There's a story that Teddy tells early on about like a old knife he has that was all completely like created by him. It was like,
really?
It is like his real background.
That beginning was
like odd knife.
I was like, what is happening? Yes. Yes.
Totally.
I mean,
so
dude, I'm sorry, that knife, it felt so unlike a prop that when he was doing it, it's like, no way is that real. Like, I thought you were just a comedic writer. Because, dude, your script, when you get into the movie and you kind of realize what we're doing, it's so disarming. Yet you're kind of still embodying this, like, one of the things I always try to tell people when they're doing in-world camera is, like, think about who's editing your movie. Right? Because like a lot of the time you have like real death. So like this person and they want to put it out. So that's like an element of this haunted artifact that's being made. And every now and then we get a movie where like the actual filmmaker is a part of it. And it's such a tightrope. And I honestly, I think you're up there. Have you seen Anne Be My Cat? Adrian Tofei's movie?
It's next on my pre-Unnamed Footage Fest watch list.
Yeah,
okay.
Russ,
I have not. It's been on the list for a while.
He's been going through all the movies. He watched Looky Loo. He watched Frogman Fucks. Right? He going down the line. He's doing his homework.
Yeah. You know what? Make sure to bug us for like a list too. Like we're terrible with it. Yeah.
Of course.
People do it all the time and it's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know.
And we usually
Duba. And yeah, dude, there's a bunch. And this is why anybody listening, we do archive our festival lineups on the website. So if you go there, you can go back and look at things we've screened. And if anything, we've given those a stamp of approval and, corner us. We'll tell you why. But with your film, And Be My Cat, Adrian was playing himself. And the layers of like ARG or like fictional reality that he was in, because just a little bit on this, but he hired all the ladies in the movie off of Craigslist, I believe. And he bought a camera off Craigslist. Like he kind of went to a length that wasn't really necessary to inform the movie. But when the ladies got on screen, he had told them, hey, if I'm speaking to you in English, we're in the movie. And if I'm not, then that's real. So immediately, all the characters, when they're introduced in the film, that's the first they've ever met in person.
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
It's insane.
See it.
You can see them. And they're just like, they try to speak like in another language. He's like, no. And they have to like catch up with him. So in your movie, you catch the audience so off guard with what we're doing that I'm like, were your actors ever like, are you fucking with me right now? Like, or is this like,
yeah.
Like, I think you're such a good writer that maybe they would be like, no, but.
There definitely were times where, because, I'm playing the director character, but I did have to like actively direct it, where I'd like give like a note and they'd be like, well, wait, are we like stopping the scene? Is this like an actual note? I'm like, oh, no, I am. And, I think the funny thing about writing for myself to act in, because it is a tricky thing, and it is, I don't know, I think something that's actually kind of deceptively a little bit easier is playing a villain. Like, I think if I had to play a protagonist,
you was sinister.
I feel like if I had to be like charming, that's like kind of harder to sell, especially if you can see someone writing themselves to be charming, right? It's like an odd ask of an audience. You really have to be like a compelling actor and whatnot. I guess if you call the style that I like to write in like a kind of like polite evil, like that's something I just really love to write in, and it's such a fun way to like improvise, especially for found footage, where like so much of like day-to-day interactions with people can be so like corporate polite. It's so easy to slip into that. I feel like I can slip into that, and it's not something I love about myself, but I know I have it in me. So dialing it up to play like a villain was just like so fun. It's really so entertaining to do that. And I think getting to like play the villain, that makes the acting side like a little bit easier. Especially because I'm kind of watching the recording happen as my character is. So layers on it, but yeah.
There was a lot of layers. You was even talking to yourself. Like, it was crazy. How was that? Like, your character, how was it playing a villain and being that mischievous? You was crazy. Is this something, how much of you were in this character? Because you seem like you could be a little mischievous.
I try not to be so evil. Just a little bit less evil. But yeah, I mean, the talking myself bit was really fun. It's like, it's kind of a stressful film because the first time you see it in the movie, that is happening live, where I am recording myself, pulling up the recording, getting it side by side with myself, and having the conversation.
Oh yeah.
So it's a real effect, and it's like, you can only do that in like a screen recording movie. I don't know how else something like that could be pulled off exactly. That was just really fun to do that. I think having to figure it out like at night with other screens going on and like people acting along with it, that could be challenging. But honestly, it was just fun rehearsing and like pulling these things off.
Dude, Adam, that shit was so impressive.
It was.
The way the conversation flowed, and I love. You have this kind of like style where it's like a 2-sentence horror story, right? Like it's a setup, but the setup is so good that you're like, what are we doing? And then the payoff, we're moving so quick that, a horror audience, especially one that's watching like found footage horror, we all are putting on detective hats. So we're constantly analyzing. I think that's why this genre does so well with Screenlife, because we're like hyperactively looking all over. And your movie, you offer us so much to look at. Like, we've got 4 screens, and dude, there's a part where we have what feels like very diegetic dialogue, like cross conversations, and then we also have like another video, and there's stuff to read. And man, it's just so engaging that I don't know. Like, did you do like theater? You did, right?
Kind of, I guess. I mean, I did improv, if you call it that, a little bit of like theater in high school. But yeah, I think that was just kind of a big work of rehearsing and editing where, I think it's just kind of how I like to write, where I wanted to give an audience like a little bit more than they might expect. Like, I guess not to spoil too much, but the movie kind of starts with a cold open and then has like a twist like 8 minutes in.
Yes.
That's like basically telling the audience like, it's a bit of a fuck you. Like maybe you were watching something, you think it's one kind of movie, it's something very different now. And that does kind of tell the audience like, okay, I as a filmmaker am trying to trick you a bit.
You tricked me.
It makes the audience more vigilant, so you have to try and live up to that as best you can.
Yeah, because Russell, remember when I was watching this movie, we have a group chat, the UF team, and I was giving all kinds of commentary. Wasn't I not, Russ?
Yeah. He loves a twist.
I do.
So
I had so much to say about this movie. Good times.
Yeah.
Good.
God, I never know like what. So on here again, we're like, programming a film fest, and I just can't help but be like transparent with it because one, I almost like want to apologize because I know everybody that submits a movie, it's hurry up and wait. Right? Like you're trying to get your movie in before a deadline and then you just wait. And a lot of the times it's for months and you just hear nothing. And with your movie, the experience that we had is, dude, this year we had a retro lineup planned and, like 4 movies and you're like, oh, and then we'll highlight these films. We cut them all.
Yeah.
We had to cut all of them because the submissions were so good and we just
really
kept
good this
axing
year.
them.
Yeah.
And then
that's really sweet.
Your movie got through at like the very end, dude. And it was like,
wow.
and again, I don't know if this is like helpful information, but it's just one of those things where, man, I almost like just want to apologize to everybody that sends their movie in because one, we didn't have we added a whole day. We added Thursday is now a full day, and it's literally because we're like, we don't have a fucking enough time.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we still couldn't show everything we wanted. But then with your film, I bring that up because of the way you set your movie up. Evan, who is not here today, he has this thing where he calls a lot of found footage just bodied by a ghost. Like there's no thought. Like, and I mean, even with Creep is kind of on its face. I mean, it's called Creep and we know what we're doing in that movie, but it's still such a fun ride, right? Like two good acting performances, the way it's captured, and it has a lot of like conversation about the genre. Where with your film, you almost to a T opened your movie with exactly what Evan fucking hates. And then the pivot is so hard that it's kind of like, wait, hold on, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And we get so many movies and a lot of them can be good, but not a lot of the time do I want to talk to the filmmaker about what they see the genre doing. Because honestly, I don't really think they think about it. You can strike gold with found footage just being authentic. And I don't know. I'm curious, like, where this idea came from. Like, can you talk about that a little bit?
Totally. And I think, first of all, thank you so much. I mean, just being like selected for such a cool festival and being among like such an insane group of films, like that's really so exciting to me. And so I'm always honored when anyone like watches, let alone like reacts to something I make. So
Adam, hold on, let me cut you off because I realized that I may have come off like, this film fest was so important. But the thing is, a lot of the time, like you made a movie that's so specific to our genre.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
And that I just imagine that if you submit here and then it's like, we don't take it, it's like, well, fuck. Like, like if they don't get it, is it going to work anywhere? So I don't know. It's just, I feel so bad sometimes, but just to clarify.
I totally get it.
Sometimes people send traditional movies and I'm like, what are you doing? You didn't read anything. You have any fucking idea. Like we still watch them, but they're just a regular movie. And it's like, sorry. Okay. All right, Adam.
Totally.
I promise. I'm done.
But okay, to talk about the actual question, it's something I'm definitely conscious of. And I think it's just from me watching so many movies and really wanting to like do justice to the stories that I find interesting. And I think giving like a little bit more movie per movie is something that a lot of people can do. And you just need to like put a lot more thought into it and a lot more time. And, it's something that I know the history of found footage is so much like interesting naturalism. And it's something that, like the style, like when you see a real camera, it just makes you believe it so much more. So I think something that I was trying to balance is finding ways to like make like naturalism and realism and like use the style in an interesting way, but also fill it with the things that interest me, you know, big plot twists, like bits of violence, bits of like comedy, like, you know, wanting to, I guess, show it in as many different ways as possible was like a really interesting thing for me, where, yeah, the movie does start with a kind of like, you know, I have a lot of time for like an unfriended movie. And I think our movie starts as the more kind of like, okay, what do you expect from a Screenlife movie, you know, like people on a Zoom, and it gets a little bit twisted, you know, and like it's a little down the line that way. And then I think to kind of say, okay, we're actually, I like that. I appreciate that. And I want to do even more inside of it. That, I don't know. I just, that was the only way it was conceptualized, where I guess kind of the start of the concept was the idea of like a director making a Screenlife movie who's using the Screenlife software to record the actors and like blackmail them into living the roles, you know, but really the idea of like watching people through their screens and having like a good natural reason why someone would be watching and like why they would have that access. I think that's what kind of like set it all off. And then, yeah, I just want to do as many different things as possible. Like that was a big thing we were talking about in like prep and writing, where, you know, if we have too many scenes in a row where it's like multiple feeds all at once, that's going to get really, really tiring on the audience and can even get samey. So we were like, okay, let's do a scene where, you know, on a laptop, you can like swipe between your desktops, and we use that for a scene to kind of be like looking between two actors, or, you know, switch to like a drone, or switch to people on a Zoom and people come in and watch them on the Zoom. Like, you know, I think just little things to make each sequence feel a little bit different. You know, I think that just like tells the audience we're trying to do something fun for them. So yeah, hopefully it works.
You know what I liked? We mentioned Timur's movies earlier, and I got a lot of shit. Was it Missing or Searching, Terrell? Which was the first one?
Searching.
I got shit from people because I said Searching was found footage with training wheels. And what I was talking about was the thing that we all loved about Unfriended was that they didn't do brand swapping. They didn't do editorial. Like, we were just the screen, the whole movie, right? That's it. We're just anchored to that one artifact. Where in Searching, they did this like kind of like zoom in. So it would be like, look over here, look over there. And I fucking hated it. I was like, don't hold my hand. It felt like they didn't understand their audience. Cause I'm like, dude, kids are going to fucking see everything. Where your movie, you almost had a different kind of like narrative narrowing, where your film opens very broad. Like you're just kind of getting washed over by everything and trying to figure out what we're doing. And by the end of it, it becomes very focused, but not in like a zoom in way, but just in like a minimal way. And you know, when I realized that was kind of happening, I don't know, I got goosebumps. I'm like, dude, you get it. Like we have to discover new ways to kind of lead the audience along, because we're not using a heavy BGM unless in your movie you could have, because you're literally playing the director. But
yeah, and we have little bits in like the movie in a movie sometimes, like music will come in, but yeah, it's a little you know, we try to be a little sparse with it.
And also like have you ever seen How To with John Williams?
Yeah.
Okay, because you know, your style kind of strikes me there, because there's something about being a good comedian. Like, you have to understand how you look and come off, right? And you playing that role, you're so unassuming, and it's like, oh, this guy might be a little snarky, but like, you don't have to worry about him. And you weaponize that so well in this fucking movie. Is that?
I hope that's a compliment. That I have like a little energy of like HR evil.
You could be evil. In real life, I thought that was you. I was like, I'm scared to hit this man up. Like,
but yeah, I get that. I think from like a style standpoint, something in found footage, like computer movies, that can really bother me is when I see like someone hop on like a FaceTime or a Zoom and it's like crisp, high def, camera footage, or like clearly a GoPro, where, you know, I for movies like Searching and Missing, I like them a lot, but in like a way where they're kind of like hyper real. Like, it doesn't they're kind of like heightened, but I think, it just makes so much more sense to me to try use the little elements that are like so immediately recognizable. Like I can look at your feeds right now and be like, yeah, no, I recognize that look of like a MacBook camera or whatever. And I think that just at least gives you such a ground level of believability that you can like really mess around inside of that.
Well,
so I think it's important to keep that up.
No, like, so we're also in this era of like, I think people are sick of that like very clean looking DSLR look where everything is just, because, with film, you would have a lot of crushed blacks in there and the darks would be like no information, just black.
Yeah.
But now everybody balances that out. We get maximum information. Everybody has a beautiful TV. You see every inch of everything. And now I feel like, what really marked it for me was Long Legs. Like that marketing campaign, which felt like it was like a creepypasta or an ARG. And then you get in the movie and it's like, oh, we're doing like a throwback, like X-Files kind of episode, which is fine.
Sure.
But that marketing campaign, it was all about texture and
it really struck something.
Right. And I think what you're doing, utilizing all these different cameras, is they all tell their own story just through quality. Like, so I don't know if you've seen the event trailer yet, but I pulled one of your shots of the drone in there. And, and that's the one that people always, hey man, what's that drone shot? And I'm like, oh, interesting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, well, it's, the thing is, I think drones used to be like a budget helicopter, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like an easy panning shot, like maybe, like I don't think there's so many movies that have used a drone as an in-world drone camera.
As a drone, just like in general.
Exactly. And that sequence was so fun to shoot. Like, it was just really interesting to try and figure that out, because yet another random friend who I reached out to be in the movie, Griffin, who plays the character Pat, who's the intern. He is a camera person, and I knew he's like a long time like photographer, some videographer. I hadn't seen him for a little bit since college, but he lived in town. And I was like, oh, hey, I'm running this role thing. Do you want to do it? He's like, oh, yeah, sounds super fun, whatever. And then I reached out to him like, hey, we are coming up with a scene that has like a drone in it. Like, do you maybe know anyone? And he's like, oh, I'm a licensed drone photographer.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, that's great. So the character in the movie who's operating the drone is live operating the drone as it's filming, which is a fun little element to add on.
Oh,
I think you can like kind of see that. Yeah. And I honestly, from filming it, I would like to make a full drone movie. It's a really interesting style. I think there's like,
please do.
I think there's a lot of like untapped stuff you can do of like doing, like a rear window or body double, like just from watching from these odd angles. It was really cool to use a real drone camera and just, like craft a scene around that. It was awesome.
It's going to look beautiful in the theater too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like even like, it's funny. I've been talking to Dutch, the creator of Horror in the High Desert. Are you a fan of that franchise?
Yeah, I've seen the first one, but I got more to watch.
Yes, you do.
So, I only bring that one up because it's kind of created a like ripple in the zeitgeist of like in-world camera. So there's a lot of people who are now going out to the desert, which, we would never get these movies before. And, I do think the Outwaters probably helped here too. But there's all these like I'm Lost in the Desert movies now. And a lot of them, they just don't come across cinematic like Horror in the High Desert. And I'm like, why? Like it's a faux crime show. Like what's cinematic about that? And it's the drone. And I really think if people were not so afraid of just leaning into drones being drones, it would look beautiful. But everybody wants to do that like shining, tracking down the road shot. And it's just the most boring thing. Like I roll my eyes every time a horror movie starts with that now. So
exactly, you can just so immediately tell it's a drone and kind of just takes you out because it's a different camera. It has to be like a tiny camera to be able to fly up on a drone. So if it doesn't look the same, that shows,
Yeah, it just reads inauthentic immediately. And also, your movie kind of points out that spying on somebody with a drone is kind of unexplored territory. Like it feels very right.
Bit.
Like, well, I mean, I'm sure, like the government and everybody who's capable
I was
of like
thinking of that.
private.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why Terrell's been wearing that
we
mask.
are being watched by drones.
They gonna get me. I'm gonna get my spray. Mm-hmm. So how long was? How
Gotta
long
have the content spray.
Yes, I want to know what was in that bottle. Anyway, so what? How long did it take you to make this movie? Like how like it seemed like it'll take you a long time.
Yeah, writing probably took about probably like 8 or 9 months or so. Rehearsed for like 2 months, and then we shot it basically over like nights and weekends over like a 3-month period.
Okay.
Yeah. So I lived with Alex at the time, who plays Teddy. So there were times when we just had like a free night or whatever. So we would just set up and film scenes ourselves. There were some scenes where, it's like five people, a whole ensemble, on to like get on a Zoom. So those were like our more big production weekends. Same with the ones where they're like, fight scenes and chases and like blood effects and stuff. So we had some more like focused weekends of like, okay, shooting all weekend, normalish scheduling. And then, somewhere it's just like me alone or Alex alone, like trying to figure out like doing some filming. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Can I jump back in here?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was just wondering. My bad.
No, because I almost like am hesitant to point this out, but you called your film content, and
you hate that word.
No, I mean it is a little anti-film.
Same.
Same.
Well, that's like we've been talking for a minute here, and your movie almost has this like thesis on like what it means to be on social media. Yet I haven't heard you bring it up at all. So I'm like, is this like? I feel like it's a thing that will get overlooked because your movie offers so much, but there's kind of like I don't know if I want to call it scathing, but I feel like you got some opinions about being on her phone all the time.
I think a little bit. I think it can like inure people to each other, where it is sometimes easier to just skirt through life by like pretending to be polite, like positioning as a good person. And I think that's a very different thing from being like an actual good person,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think that like kind of simple idea is definitely in the AJ character, definitely in just like the social media interactions and like how backhanded they can be, and like the obsession of like looking at your own posts and metrics and things like that. Like it's just not good for the head. But also definitely something that we can all do. Definitely I can do it too. So
period.
I feel like that's
Russell does it too. Don't let him fool you.
Oh yeah.
He did
everyone
it last night. We were drinking. Why don't you, Russell? This got to get over this much. Yes, you did.
Oh my God. You want to talk about Terrell will literally start a conversation with me. He's like, I know you see my post, but you didn't like it.
Yep. You do.
My problem is that we're over here producing a film fest, and I can't bring myself to get online. Like I just, it's Instagram, all of it. I have such a hard time like focusing on like, here, let me make a post. And it's because of all that, like, I don't know, click-through ratio and analytics and how many eyeballs are, and it's like a whole nother fucking job. But
big time.
Dude, so I bring it up because like clearly you named your movie content when it the title makes it almost feel like a focus, yet there's so much going on in the film that it's kind of like the bedrock, but I don't know. I'm curious. And again, don't unravel the enigma if you want to keep it that way. But I'm just like, why name it content?
I guess I think it's still a little enigma to me. I think that it's just something I'm interested in. I'm interested with like how I relate to like being, into like what's online, like spending a lot of time online, how I'm viewed online. It's things that I think everyone can be really self-conscious of. Yeah. And I think it's such like an ugly word. It like, it's very dehumanizing, and I think that's kind of what the core is about what the AJ character does by like literally like taking real people's lives and making them into content. I think it like having such like a disregard for like, the word content usually to disregard like art. I think it just kind of like, it pisses me off a little bit to hear. And I think that, is kind of the headspace that I want people to enter the movie in. Hopefully it's not too annoying of a provocation to say, hey, you're watching content.
No, it was something I thought a lot about because it seems so disconnected from like the smart horror movie you made, and it made me think a lot about. Have you ever seen Dean Fleischer Camp's movie Fraud?
Oh, I haven't. One of my friends loves it though, so it is on my list.
Here, let me pull that up because I think it's important in this conversation. So for anybody familiar with this film, again, we've covered it a lot. The Fraud is a movie that is a complete construction of a dude filming his family on YouTube. And Gary, he's a friend of the last podcast we used to do, Overlook Hour. And he's a character. And, he filmed his family because he had family back home in, I think it was Germany. And they just wanted to keep up. So he would film fucking everything. So Dean got on there and built a whole narrative out of their story that he provided him. But, he didn't know Dean. Yeah. Dean just found his fucking YouTube. And you seem to tap into another... like calling it content and then having this be kind of like the subtext of like, hey, you're basically offering up a character to the internet that somebody could pull and like use in a narrative. Like it really, it kind of like captured my imagination where I'm like, you could like Terrell puts a lot up there. We could go through his timeline and then maybe find a couple more people and weave a story together into a feature, and Terrell would be completely a third of the cast, but have no idea or even or give consent. Or do you? Like if you put your shit online, that is kind of consent, right?
I get you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know this is something your movie just like I didn't know if this was like the underlined idea here.
A little bit. And by the way, if you're looking for a little bit of content, side content, for the past about half a year or so, I've been on TikTok performing like as the AJ character, but like posing as like a film influencer. So it's I don't know if I would call it promotional, but I've now started
AJ
posting
lives.
videos.
AJ
does live. I think it's just at Content the Movie. And it gets, it's TikTok. I'm doing a lot of things. Some of them are more aligned to the movie. Some are just me goofing around. But some people do really react to the character where like 30% of people might recognize it's a bit. And then like a whole bunch of other people get incredibly like bothered by him, which I get. That's like the fun for
love
me.
It.
But
I bet.
Damn it. Terrell, can you look that up?
Yeah, let's look it up.
We're not on TikTok. This was a conversation I think we had.
Yeah, I'm barely on it. Like, let's see. What is it called? Movie?
Content the Movie on TikTok. And it's, so I make all kinds of... I'm not really on TikTok either. And really the like film influencer world on TikTok is like, it can be like so banal. Like
look
it's really like bottom of the barrel stuff.
Now this movie follows a
look
pair
at
of actors in a found
footage. We're talking about your movie here though. Let's see.
Hey y'all, my horror movie Content just got a release date, so I'm at the lead actor's house to tell him. All right.
You went to, is this Teddy?
Hey man.
It's just like the movie.
Guess where I am right now.
Dude, that's so fucking good.
Look outside.
If you do one,
man, I have some really fun news to tell you.
Do you put these on Instagram too?
No,
I've just started posting them on Instagram too. I kind of wanted to keep it in the dark for a while, just for like TikTok where no one I know follows me.
Yeah.
But just to like see what I could do with this character, honestly. It was just kind of a fun little, like, maybe this drums up interest. Maybe it's just kind of fun for me. But yeah, so I've now started making ones that are at least a little bit more related to the movie itself. And
you did one, don't watch Content and don't watch 28 Years Later.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yep. That one went like stupidly viral.
I love it. Oh, it did?
What you might not know is that 28 weeks later takes place 28 weeks after 28 years later. And here's where it gets really interesting. 28 years later, the Bone Temple, coming out next year, takes place slightly before 28 years later, coming out this weekend.
Yeah, this is crazy. What'd you say about don't watch content?
The found footage horror movie content.
You was funny, AJ.
Get that out of here, dude.
Okay. I'm sorry, I get stuck on TikTok. That's why I don't go on that shit. It's too. It'll fuck you up.
Exactly.
AJ lives. This is crazy. You said
put it. We'll put them all on the DVD.
Yeah, bonus features. I was gonna ask you. Okay, what's next for this movie? What you gonna be doing? You got some physical media? Because I'm a Blu-ray collector. You just follow me. You see it.
Big time.
Yes.
Yeah. Very fun news. Content should be releasing on VOD at the end of April.
Oh, awesome!
Perfect timing.
Yep.
And so this will be announced shortly. We're set up with a distributor based out of the UK, releasing in the UK and the US, at the end of April, and then probably on the streamer sites like a couple months after that. So content should be going pretty wide like this summer.
Oh, perfect.
Congratulations,
That's
dude.
great. No, that's huge. I can't wait for the AJ video of that. I'm
so follow along. I'll post about it. I'll make some ironic content.
Well, can you talk a little bit about that journey? Like, I know we have a lot of filmmakers that listen to this, and it's such a weird moment where we're kind of in like cable 2.0, where now everything is on a streamer and VOD, and it's like you have options that range from like Tubi and Amazon Prime, or maybe you want to be behind a paywall and just be up for rent, or maybe you just want to put on YouTube. Like, did you think, like, was YouTube ever in the conversation for content?
I mean, it was at least a little bit. I think we wanted to just see what we could do with it because, making money from the movie, never really something that, I mean, if I ever do make money from it, great, that's awesome. It didn't cost so much to film, and especially filming and then editing over like a few year period like that. It was, I don't expect much from it. Really, I just want to get it out there. And I think as many places it can play are interesting to me. I think if we can get on, whatever, Tubi or whatnot, that's a great place to point people where, legitimate, but also so easily accessible. You don't even count, anyone can go and watch it. So I think, I think whatever we can do, just put it on as many platforms as possible. Because really, I just, want to find ways to get people to try chance across it. And however many who really spark with this kind of like very knowing Screenlife found footage commentary inside of a horror movie, I think hopefully however many people can spark with that. So, I think we're just kind of, that's also like why making a TikTok, like who knows like how to get a movie promoted. Even like the smartest people in Hollywood still basically have like no clue and are just kind of throwing things at the wall. So I'm like, however many weird little things I can do to get people to see parts of this movie, that's all fun.
Right. And I think what you're saying here is, of course, anybody can dump a movie on YouTube. And first off, I love YouTube. I think I refer to films on YouTube as cinema, just like not even like the fucking meme, by the way. No, I mean it. Like, I do think just because your movie's on YouTube, it doesn't mean it's not a movie. The problem, though, is that, you got a distribution company to back you, or at least like a platform to put it up. And the hope is that they will go out there and share the word, right? That you have like a cheerleader, essentially.
At least, exactly. And like, even like Freak Fest, like you guys, like people we've met along the way, like anyone we can kind of get to like watch it, put it out there. I think the tough thing is nowadays YouTube is so like creator focused, where I think if you don't really have a following and you're just kind of posting a movie out there, it seems really slim to get it out there. I mean, same deal with, your Tubies and whatnot, but even and then at least there's literally a platform where someone might actually it might just pop up in their up next. I think it can be kind of easier to convince someone to watch a movie on like a Tubi or a Pluto than on YouTube. Me too. I think that's what I watched Looky Loo on last night.
Period.
It's easy. And I think, so I think by making this movie and like showing at a few fests and, getting it around, is also seeing a lot of the like horror community, which can be really like loud and really like focused and really, like champion independent movies. I think horror is kind of still the only genre where that really happens, where like I learn about a movie existing and then I am watching it within 3 days at like some limited release or whatever, like if something comes along and catches people's attention, like they'll at least find ways to post about it, which, is cool. So we'll see.
Yeah. And it's all about getting in front of the right people, because I do think word of mouth is still the way, because, all media now is so dialed into being digestible. Right. We're in like this era where if you're looking at social media, it is quantity over quality. Right. It's like a shotgun blast. Put out all your shorts. If one of them hits, then let's retool the other ones. You repost the same videos because it's just this like fucking meat grinder. And it's like, if the right people can find your thing and then they go to work and they're like, dude, I watched this movie. Like, content's really cool. Right. That works so much better than any trailer, commercial, anything.
Totally.
So I don't know. I couldn't recommend watching your movie more. I'm so excited to have you out to put this in a theater. Have you?
I know.
So you did Grimfest, right?
Yes, we played at Grimfest. They did a Grimfest online where the Grimfest team, very nice. They're great people. They reached out to us as their main fest was coming around, that they were like interesting content. It didn't end up working out. I think they just couldn't fit it into the weekend. And then they came back to us and said, oh, hey, we're actually doing like an online continuation of Grimfest a couple months later, which was back in December. So they were like, hey, we want to show content. And I was like, that would be awesome. And they did a great job where like, a bunch of like UK horror creators are kind of like watching the movie, which is so fun to, have made something that's like going a distance, it's just like so unique.
Yeah, Grimfest is cool. Uncle Frank, who does our poster art for every UF, he also did theirs for a while. So cool. They're like, I don't know, sisters or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, so when you get brought into a film fest like that and you've got such a specific movie, like what kind of expectations do you have? Like, I'm asking kind of as somebody, like we curate a film festival, and I just, like all the in-world camera movies are our babies, but whenever they go out to another like broader horror fest, I always imagine in my head that they got one or two. And every time, again, this is just an inner dialogue. I haven't talked to anybody, but I just imagine they're like, we got room for 2 found footage horrors, or like 1. And you are basically knifing everybody else trying to get in there. So like, were you like the one found footage horror film?
I think there were like, I want to say during the Grimfest section I played at, I think there was, maybe like 1 or 2 others. I think there was one other like computer one that played. I don't know if there were any other like even found footage ones that played as part of that. But, this is the first like feature I've taken out. And I think any festival who has any kind of interest, I'm just really touched by it because the movie is so lo-fi. Like it is, it isn't shot on like high crisp cameras and like moving in the way that like a searching does. It's like very lo-fi and has a very specific sense of humor. So, I think if people come along and really like that, I always really appreciate it. But I think any fest that did have interest, I'm just like, oh,
dude, awesome. Adam, you are fucking tripping. Lo-fi is not the term I would use for your movie. Oh? Terrell, tell me. So Terrell takes in a lot, and again, he goes out into Tubi land, right?
Yes,
which is now, dude. Terrell's
Tubi time.
So we we had to watch a Tubi movie for the episode we're about to record. Lord. And it was on Tubi. So I went up to pull audio today, and oh my, dude, the amount of found footage horror films that are just floating out there now, I was kind of overwhelmed.
There's
I'm just
lot.
Like, dude, and I'm like, how do you make it just going on Tubi now? Like, there's so much shit out there. Like, and AI posters galore. Oh my God, we are in a new era.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Dude,
so silly.
It's rough because they all look the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it's like the new era of the girl being pulled into the cave.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
Like, dude, and I'm just like kind of like overwhelmed looking at this shit. God, I don't even know what my original point was. I got PTSD thinking about.
You got on a tangent like you always do. Fest.
No, but dude, I was because I haven't like really dug around in Tubi in a while.
Yeah,
and I was just so taken aback by it. We're talking about posters. Yeah. What the fuck was weird Film Fest?
Just get a movie out there. It's hard to do, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Oh no, I was arguing with you about your lo-fi thing. So Terrell watches a ton of these movies, right?
Yes, I do.
And when I saw your movie, it felt like a fucking flex, dude. Like
it
you not only so there's so many things that you have to worry about when you're doing in-world camera. It's story.
Yep.
I mean, so first off,
characters. If they bore
right?
you know.
Well, here's the thing. So I mostly tell people all you need to like get an interesting found footage film is like take the audience somewhere they're not used to, right? Like oh, I have a mine shaft. Cool. There's a movie. Get somebody who's like can command a little bit of a presence on screen.
Yep.
And then, have an ending. Like things I don't mention that movies could really benefit from. Characters, good editing, sound design, a concept. And I felt like you were nailing all the things that people usually overlook.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, Teddy, that character has such nuance, but also isn't like, I want to be careful here because I don't want to spoil anything.
Don't spoil it. I like Teddy.
Well, Terrell, whenever we see found footage horror, usually they have like the actor, right?
Yep.
And they just dominate 80% of screen time. And it's like the screen share in your film feels very organic.
Yep.
And like Teddy, like we're talking about the like it's unfolding live before you. The character evolution felt so like nuanced and not overplayed. Like it just felt like, oh shit, this dude is writing. Like, which isn't always a thing in found footage horror. And I'm not even mad at it. But I don't know, dude. Lo-fi. Honestly, I think you're using like phone cameras and drone. They don't look bad, dude. Everything looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for F9 to watch it in the theater. Is this going to be the first theater experience for this? Has it played in the theater?
I think a few other theaters.
Okay.
But not many. And
okay, well, this is going to be exciting.
Here in the Bay, not many. I'm really excited.
Not in the Bay Area, dude. In a fucking historic
Definitely
theater.
None in the Bay Area. None that I know of.
And you're coming out. We're going to be twinning up there on that Q&A, aka intro. It's going to be great. And
amazing.
I'm excited. And I'm excited for everyone to see it. So what else you got coming on? You got this movie hitting VOD at the end of April. What else you got cooking? Give us some tea or spill something on here. We like a little something.
I can spill a little bit.
What's next?
I'm currently in the process of writing the next one.
Okay.
I would say it's a modern day ghost story, kind of shown from the POV of the house itself, of the haunted house. Which it should be unique, interesting, and I'm writing one of the lead parts for Alex Mills, aka Teddy.
Teddy's back.
He's a wonderful actor, a very different character this time around, but. I think again, writing for like people I know is super, super fun. It like just kind of motivates me to write. Like, I think what you were saying about like building like actual interesting characters, I think it's really hard to do things like that in the dark for something like found footage where they have to play really natural or they have to play in real time. So I think being able to, write for people is a good way to like help kind of center characters and come up with interesting concepts. But all to say, right in the next one, producing with Logan, who again produced content with me, was kind of a partner on the whole thing. So we're developing this next one. Hopefully, try shoot some test footage later this spring and figure it out.
Who's coming out with you? Are you rolling alone, or are you bringing a little group?
He's bringing Teddy.
We're making plans. I think Teddy should be coming.
Good.
Logan, producer Logan, who also plays my character's roommate at the start of the movie with the cat. He should be coming as well. We should have at least a little group out there. It'll be a fun time. I think my dad might come to town.
Oh, your daddy coming? Yeah. Oh, okay.
He might swing by.
Hell yeah.
I think I got a cousin in San Francisco.
Bring the primos.
So
bring them out.
I'll spread the word.
Mm-hmm. Is the Catman's fiance coming too?
I think she might be working that.
Oh, she's working. Oh,
okay. We didn't want her anyway.
And my
sick.
now fiance plays Margot's. Oh, thank you. Plays Margot's girlfriend who is like abducted and like half drowned in a bathtub.
That's
so
really?
A great performance by her too.
Oh, cool! I'm excited to meet everybody. They're gonna see my crazy ass. Don't run away. We're gonna have fun. We'll get some pictures. Yes, it's gonna be a good time.
Lovely.
Right, Russ?
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Yes. Period.
I'm really excited.
Well, I love this. I'm glad you came on to talk to us and chat with our crazy asses. With all
of my God, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks for being so thoughtful about like the movie. Like we really did try to pack like so much into it. Like at times, I mean, that was kind of the whole big thing with editing. There were times when there's just too much movie going on, like too many feeds, and we had to find the right amount of info, the right amount of like things to kind of like cut out or show, when to kind of focus in on things. Like, so hopefully it's not like so oppressive of an experience. Like I want to make something where it makes you want to like watch a little bit more. It kind of makes you want to like go and see what little things you weren't focusing on.
No,
well, I'm excited.
Adam, no, Terrell, I mean, this is one of the things that we're like most proud of is just, I think a lot of these movies end up being like the misfit of like another festival where people are like, oh man, I didn't expect anything out of a found footage movie. Where our crowd is there to watch found footage. So, I mean, we showed hashtag Chad gets the axe, and people were coming out talking about the chat. Like, oh man, that guy in the chat was really funny. And it's like, man, people are hyper aware. So dude, I'm just excited. I'm excited to have you out here and to stop you in the lobby and talk at you about your movies. Yeah.
Of course.
So before you go, you could give us our co-host back from that closet, and you could plug,
R.I.P.
You could plug wherever Instagrams or socials that you want people to get caught up, on the movie, to get updates on your work. You could plug that away right now.
Of course.
Yes.
On Instagram at Content the Movie. Same thing on TikTok. If you want to see a little bit of the AJ character being an evil film influencer.
Hell yeah.
Ain't that fun? Ain't that a little bit of side real world live along with?
Love it.
And I'm at AD Meilech on Instagram as well. I'll be posting content news as it's coming out. And hey, we'll be at Unnamed soon. Come say hi.
Yes, I love it. Okay, well, that was it for this week's Footage Foreplay. And we're going to see y'all next time. Come to us.
Thank you, Footage Foreplay.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to Footage Foreplay. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving a review, sharing it with a friend, or simply hitting like. These small gestures are a great free way to support this mayhem, and if you find some footage we should be fondling, email us at footageforeplay@gmail.com. Check back every Tuesday and Thursday for new episodes, and remember, don't skip the foreplay.